Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sestra-Tainment.
Sestra-Tainment.
I'm your girl, Lenora.
And I'm Dee.
And we are two sisters talking about interesting and fun things in the world of entertainment. So this week, we have 10 different topics that could cover anything from TV shows, TikToks, Instagrams, books, movies, a little bit of everything. And so we're just going to get right into it and go to number 10, which I have number 10 this week. And my number 10 is Insecure, the TV show on HBO. And so there's been a lot of controversy lately in regards to Insecure, the TV show, because of the fact that there's two characters on the show. One's Molly and one's Tiffany, and both of them are portraying AKAs on the show, which is Alpha Kappa Alpha. It's a sorority, one of the Divine Nine sororities.
Incorporated.
Yes, and it's in regards to the African American sorority. And so basically, for those who do not know, sororities and fraternities for that matter are very serious in regards to their emblems, their seals, their likeness, their clothes, their everything. And so although they can't really claim colors of outfits and things of that nature, because AKAs typically, well, they are pink and green, so they can't say, oh, well, we own everything pink and green, so no one can wear pink and green unless they're an AKA. At the same time, they do kind of have their own emblems, their own lettering. And on the show Insecure, what happened is that they were going back to school at Stanford for a reunion, and one of the ladies, Tiffany, she actually went dressed in all of her AKA attire. So she was mainly wearing pink and green, but then there are occasions where you could see a little bit of the shield of an AKA and you could see the A of the AKA.
Oh, okay.
And when all of the AKAs saw this, they weren't that thrilled and they weren't that happy about it. And the main reason is because she's not an AKA in real life, but also the television studio did not get approval from the AKA Sorority Incorporated to have their likeness in the show.
And I always wonder, like, who would they go to?
I'm sure you just go to the president of the organization or someone within the organization to get approval. And they may have known that they weren't going to get the approval.
Maybe.
It's hard to say, not sure. And so basically, people just really came after the actress that plays Tiffany. Her name is Amanda Seales. And they were just like, how could you do that? And you really should know that that's not something that's acceptable, being a black woman. And so she basically was like, look, I'm not an AKA. The character Tiffany is an AKA.
I am an actress.
I am an actress playing a fictional character. So just like you wouldn't expect a person who plays Jesus, like Mel Gibson, to truly be Jesus, I'm just an actor playing a role. And, I think I can see both sides of it, so I'm not really taking sides. I have AKA friends, and they're kind of on both sides as well. One of which is like, look, I don't agree with it. I don't think it's right. I worked hard to get my lettering and to wear that shield, and so therefore, for someone to actually do that is just totally disrespectful, inappropriate, and you really should have gotten approval.
Yeah.
And then I've had others who are like, we can't really, number one, the thought is it was only the A. Yeah. It was a lot of pink and green, but it was only the A, and the shield was covered mainly by her hair. So you really couldn't see it. Did she ever
say AKA? Did she?
They always say it. They've said AKA since season 1.
Oh, okay.
So they've always said that Molly and Tiffany were AKAs.
But they never had the colors shield, nothing like that.
They didn't have the official items on. Yeah. Right, exactly. And so based on that, I think that that's why people didn't really get upset. Now, mind you, I didn't remember this, but one of the AKAs that I know had said, oh, well, Molly had an AKA mug or coffee cup or something like that, or a little cup for water or whatever, like first season, second season, like it's always been around and nobody cared. But I think it's like the clothing and on your person and the shield itself that they're very protective of was the reason why. So I just was bringing this up because number one, I think for a lot of people who never watched Insecure, this is probably going to get them to start watching because they're
definitely.
just like, oh, I'm an AKA and what is going on? I'm going to need to watch that episode so I can see if I should be furious or not. And then
watch the whole like every season.
You'll have
How
to
many
watch a lot
seasons
to
is it?
catch up
4?
with it. I think it's 5, and it's the final 4 or 5, and it's the final season. So anyway, so that's just what I had, was just the controversy. A couple of mine are about controversy things, actually, maybe 3. So it's just, the controversy around basically the TV show Insecure. So I don't think that there's been any. Well, I don't know. Issa Rae may have had an official statement. I probably should have looked that up.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything from her. I've heard from Yvonne Orji.
Oh, okay.
I've heard her talk about it, and she was just like, "Hey, look, I mean, I just act. So whatever goes on behind the scenes, I don't even know."
Right, exactly. So those are the kind of things that, probably smarter brains than ours can, figure out how that should be done in the future going forward.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that Issa Rae and the team, as they're even outfitting people for this, either didn't have someone who was an AKA or Delta or Zeta or somebody on site who could have given some guidance. But also, like, maybe just because they didn't really feel it was offensive. And, even one of my AKA friends had said, really, it's all great publicity for AKA.
Oh, absolutely,
like,
yeah.
Even though some people might be frustrated and upset about it, it's like people are talking about our sorority just like they do about I was going to say first lady, but the vice president being an AKA. So like, they're like, all of this is great, for us and our publicity, and, any news is good news. So, anywho, that was just my number 10, just about the controversy around Insecure and the AKA emblems. So,
yeah, I didn't know that was such a big thing until I started
thing.
hearing it. I heard it on some other podcasts. I've heard it like on the radio.
It's a black Twitter
social
thing.
media.
Like,
So I'm just like, wow, I did not know that it was like something that was that big to where
serious.
People are upset with the actual person who's playing a character and like upset with the show, and it's like the girl, she can't help that this is her character and that's what she has to play,
right? But I think that they're saying that you should be, especially being like an activist and a person yourself in real life, you should have known enough to know that that's not really what you should do. So
that's true.
But I mean, at the same
not everybody
time,
knows. If you're not in a sorority or fraternity, you would not know the rules and regulations and guidelines that you're supposed to, like, that they have to go through.
Right, exactly. And everybody doesn't go to college. Everybody hasn't maybe seen, school days or something like that, so who knows. But to keep us on track, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you for number 9.
All right, number 9, I have Promising Young Woman. It is a movie that is on HBO. It came out last year. It is starring Carey Mulligan. She's a very talented actress. And then we also have the very talented director, Emerald Fennell. She is a director and she's an actress. She is from the UK, I believe, and then she kind of like came here and went ahead and did her thing over here. But so like Emerald has worked on a lot of like shows and stuff that I'm pretty sure we're going to touch on. She worked on The Crown, which that is on Netflix. She's worked on Killing Eve, which is on, what's that, BBC America, I think. But she's really done some good stuff. So this Promising Young Woman is actually on HBO. So you can get on HBO Max or whatever, the HBO Go or whatever it is. So what the premise of the movie is that it takes place, it's this young, attractive white girl who's in a bar or she's in a club and she's baiting men, and this is how she's baiting men. She's sitting there pretending like she is drunk to see what men come and try to take advantage of her. And it gets so good because as soon as she takes them home, like as soon as they take her home, and then she's like, I don't feel good, I want to just go to sleep, I want to take me home. And they're just like, no, you're fine here. And then they like try to force themselves on her. She's like, I said I want to go home. And they're like, oh, whoa, what happened? And like, what? The only thing that's kind of bad about this is I think that she's also taking some men's lives. I've noticed that she has this notebook. It doesn't really say that this happened, but she has this notebook, and in the notebook, she has like marks, and the marks are different colors. So one, like you'll see like 3 marks that are blue, and then 1 mark might be red. So it's like, it's red mean like she killed that person, But I mean, it is very, like, the whole storyline is very good. it goes, I don't know, it's really deep, and I think that's something that people would definitely like to watch. It's very entertaining. Like,
And can I ask, what made her decide to go down this path? Like, was she herself?
so I don't want to give out too much
Oh.
information, but it is something that happened to her when she was in college.
Oh, okay.
And I think it was like her and her best friend. So something happened with them, and then now she's just getting her payback. She's getting her revenge by going around and trying to find dudes who, basically take advantage of women, guys who are like just going around raping women, and she's just like, oh, okay, that's cool. You want to be like that? I got you. I'm gonna find you, and I'm gonna take care of you myself.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's what I have. Promising Young Woman on HBO. Definitely check it out. All right. What you got for number 8, Sestra?
Number 8, I have, funny enough, Katie Couric.
Katie Couric.
Her new book called, oh gosh, what is her new book called? Sorry, I have it down and then Going There. That's what it is. Going There. Okay. I was like, wait, I have it here. It's Going There. Nice. So, but yeah, that's her new book called Going There. And basically, what she is doing in this book, it's kind of like a whole tell-all from a person who's had to be so straight and narrow and so pristine and so perfect for her whole life that now she's just letting it all
letting it all go.
So she's just going through like, oh, this is the person who had the worst breath that I've ever or
that's kind of funny.
Yeah, exactly. So she's just like really going off about people, and she just like torches and like she just is leaving a path of destruction, basically.
And this is about Katie Couric?
No, it is Katie Couric's memoir about all the people that she has been around.
Yeah, so I mean, it's coming from her standpoint. So it's not her writing a book about somebody. It's like, I'm Katie Couric, and this is the person who had the funkiest breath that I've ever worked with.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, wow. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. So it's just, I mean, it's just different things that she talks about. So some of the things that I've just, kind of picked up on. Now, the book just came out on October 26th of 2021. So there hasn't been that much time to kind of get through it. But at the same time, she basically is going there, and she's covering a lot of intimate details about her life. She opens up about the industry, the sexism within the industry, her being told, I never want you to be on camera without makeup again, about her being 125 pounds, and that was almost too much for some people. Professional rivalry. She talks about her experience with Deborah Norville, which she kind of was like, yeah, I'm going to send her the book in advance so she can know some of the things I'm going to say about her ahead of that. But she was very upset that, Deborah Norville kind of was coming in, and she was a very, like a perfectionist, but also somebody who was, trying to come up, herself, and that she kind of felt a little threatened, it seems like, from Deborah Norville coming in. And plus, Jane Pauley was in her role, and back then it was this big, huge thing that Deborah Norville was the reason that Jane Pauley lost her job, and like all of these different things that were going on. So she goes there with that. She goes there about Matt Lauer and their relationship, and before he ended up getting fired from the show, and how she felt he was a really great guy, excuse me, very charismatic, just a perfect, wonderful person, and she thought they both had the same agenda, but then realizing that he had a different agenda off the screen, it just really hurt her.
Yeah.
And she did say on a interview with Savannah Guthrie on Today that her and Matt do not talk anymore, so they are not still cordial, so to speak. But she talks about a lot of different things. Her struggles with bulimia, gross kind of stories about her squirting breast milk across the room to shock her husband, when he was alive.
What?
Yeah, it's just a lot of different interesting things. But basically, it's one of those things where, had she maybe released this book 4 or 5 years ago, it would have been like, oh my God, look at little quirky, Kathy, Katie, and what's going on with her. But now in this situation where everybody is all about women helping women and women empowering women, it's almost like her books, it sounds like it could be a little tone deaf in regards to what really is happening now versus what probably she should have been writing about. But she even covers stories about like how she made some mistakes and things that she probably didn't even need to tell anybody. But like one was her dressing up as a homeless person for a piece, you know, for a story. And she said that she's basically going to be atoning for that for a very long time because she, you know, was doing something that, you know, looking back on it, it probably wasn't the best way to bring homelessness to light, you know, dressing up like a homeless person just for a day, you know, and what did you have to do to make yourself look like a homeless person? But then asking a trans actress various like questions that just were very invasive, you know, about, oh, well, you know, what about your body? What do you have? What don't you have? Like all those kind of things. So she's just like, now, you know, I wish that I had never even covered those things. And then she also, I don't know, it just seems like it's just a very, hey, I've always looked like such a perfect girl next door, and I'm not. And oh, by the way, poor me as a white woman with blonde hair being pitted against other white women with blonde hair. You know, this just wasn't fair. And oh, by the way, what did I only cover when it came to missing people? Other white women with blonde hair. I didn't really cover everything that I could have covered. So I don't know. I'll probably, because I have an Audible subscription, I'll probably download the book and listen to it. I wouldn't purchase it to read, but those are just some of the things that I've picked up on just from various outlets about what the book contains that could be, again, controversial. So
that's true. Yeah.
That is my number.
But yeah, no, I would say that it's like it's a lot of celebrities that we don't even know the stuff that they've been through. Yeah. You know, and then like they're just trying to do their job, and then they're not realizing like, oh, my job is actually causing people stress, or like I'm actually hurting people's feelings doing my job. Right.
And I have actually heard even people saying like Katie Couric will cuss you out upside down, forward, backwards, sideways if she's upset about something. But then it's like, well, who wouldn't? If you're a person who is potentially a perfectionist yourself, you're trying to get something done, people are not either making you look good or whatever. Like, I mean, I'm sure anybody, especially people in power, you know, they'll just be like, this is what we need to do to get the job done. Now, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying it's the reality of the world we live in. But yeah, so I think it's like one of those things like the Ellen syndrome where everybody's, oh, she's so sweet and so nice.
Yeah,
and
until you work with her.
Oh my God, working with her, it's a whole other person, you know. And I think that is some things that people are probably going to pick up on with this book. So
that's what is it? Katie Couric's book? Was it Going There?
Going There by Katie Couric, and it came out on October 26th.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit. What are we on?
Number 7.
Number 7, I have from Amazon, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
What? Maisie?
Maisie. All right, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel started in 2017. It is on its 3rd season. I cannot wait for season 4 to come out. People understand that this is my favorite show. It is just, it's like quirky, funny. It's dry humor, funny. Did they really just say that? Nobody laughed about it. Nobody caught it, and they're just moving on. It's like, oh my God, I just love it. Anyway, so just to give you some information on this, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is a movie that's set in the late 1950s. I'm sorry, a TV show that's set in the late 1950s. It's about a young Jewish woman from the Upper West Side of New York. She has everything going for her. She's married to her husband, who works for her like a great job. She has 2 kids, a little boy who looks like he's maybe like 4 years old, and then, you know, a baby girl. And they live in like the best building in the Upper West Side. They got the doorman, and like people know them. But the thing that kind of is like weird about it is that they live in the same building as her parents. That's kind of a bit much. But then, you know, she has free childcare. You know, she just goes down goes up a couple of steps, and then she's like, hey, watch the kids. So the cast in this is Rachel Brosnahan, and she is an awesome actress. I haven't really seen her in a lot of stuff, but after Mrs. Maisel, I started to see her pop up everywhere. I also have Tony Shalhoub is also in.
God, I love Tony Shalhoub.
Oh my God, like he is.
Loved him since Monk.
Yeah, since Monk.
Probably before Monk.
I mean, but you know what's so crazy? This character that he's playing as Rachel Brosnahan or Maisel, Midge, yeah, her father. He is kind of like Monk, not completely like out there, but he's kind of like. it has to be done this way. If it's not done this way, I don't like it. I can't stand it. I gotta figure out how to fix it. Like, I don't want to fix it. You fix it. You mess this up. Like, so yeah. Also, Midge Maisel. She has her best friend and now business partner, who is Susie, who is played by Alex Bornstein. She is so funny. I remember like back in the day when she used to do Mad TV. Hilarious. It was like funny. A lot of the stuff that she did on Mad TV, she cannot do today though.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but a bunch
not
of
appropriate.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely not appropriate. But yeah, it is a great great show. So basically, she is married, happily married, going through emotions. She thinks she has everything together, and then boom, everything falls apart. And her husband leaves her with the kids. Now she has to figure out what she wants to do and like what's her next steps going to be. And this is right before I can't remember what holiday it was. It was a holiday that they were supposed to be having, but it was like right before the holiday, and like the whole family going to be together, and he decided to leave her, and she's just like, oh my god. So she takes a bottle of Manischewitz, chugs it, gets on the subway, and she ends up at this place called the Gaslight. So the Gaslight is actually a coffee shop they use for like entertainment, like spoken word, and it's like a open mic kind of thing. Gotcha. And she just comes in and she's just like, oh, so this is what it's all about. And then she just starts venting. And her venting about her life and all the stuff that she's gone through and the stress and the drama, people are finding it hilarious. They are cracking up laughing. They cannot help themselves. Like they were been sitting there being bored, and then this random lady just walks up with a bottle of Manischewitz and just starts talking. Like it's I don't know, it's really great. So now that was about the first season. Second season is going into her, going into this newfound career. She actually is going and having a job for the first time, and that kind of like freaked her father out because she was just like, I'm going to work. He was like, you got a job? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, and it pays you?
Right. Because this is based in what time frame?
1950s. So like the mid to late 1950s. So, women didn't work.
Right.
You stay home barefoot, pregnant in the kitchen. That's what you're supposed to do. Exactly. So, yeah, going into that. So now she's a job. So now she's her going through that. Her getting to meet new people. Her meeting comedian Lenny Bruce. I mean, like there are people in the show that they actually have from history. Right. Like actually from history that are in the show, but the show is not based on any one person. It can be based on a bunch of different comedians from back in the day. It could have been Joan Rivers. It could have been Phyllis Dillard. Yeah. So it was like based on those kind of women, but like the things that they had to go through in order to be who they are.
Who they are, right?
Yeah, but definitely catch Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. It is on Amazon. It is the best show Amazon has ever made.
Well, that's your go-to show. Like if you just want to put something on for background noise or whatever, or just to laugh.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to. I mean, show. Yeah. I know that I can probably recite the entire 3 seasons. I mean, I don't even like. I don't like musicals. I hate musicals. Yeah. But the 3rd season, Miss Maisel, she's with this. She's on tour with this guy who's a singer, and I'm just like, I don't like the songs, but I know all the songs because I have to watch the songs because in between him singing and then it clips into something else. Yeah, oh my god, yeah. So now I'm like, I know all the songs. I know. It's crazy.
And you're enjoying every minute of it.
Every minute of it. All right, so what you got for number 6?
Number 6, I have Squid Game.
Squid Game.
Squid Game. So I think a lot of people have probably heard about Squid Game. A lot of people have probably kind of come across it in one way, shape, or form.
They said that I just heard this recently that Squid Game hit the highest amount of streams ever
for Netflix?
For Netflix, yeah.
And it was, at some point throughout this time, has been the number 1 show in over 160 countries. Yeah. So it's just like insane that Squid Game is just doing what it's doing. But just to give some people the premise of Squid Game without giving away everything about the show, because it's multiple episodes. But basically, it all starts with people who are kind of down on their luck. So they just don't really, either they're in debt or they're, just people who, again, are down on their luck, and they basically get this card that has this number on it. And it basically says, do you want to play a game, for the most part. And there is this part in there too where in a subway station somebody is playing a flicking of a card game and all of that. And I mean, you'll see that when you start to watch it, if you start to watch it, because it is gory, and I'll get to that in a second. But basically, so it asks them if they want to play a game. So if you say yes, you want to play, then you meet at this particular location and they basically drug you. And they put you out under some gas and you end up in this van and they take you to this undisclosed location. And then basically different people with like these reddish colored jumpsuits, I guess, that have different symbols for their face.
Yeah, it's like a triangle, a circle,
and a square. Almost like old video games.
Like PlayStation.
Yeah, would be. So they are actually the minions that do kind of all the work, and they do different tasks. Some are overseers, some are other things I'll get to in a second. So basically what happens is you wake up and you're in this bunker or room, I don't know what you want to call it, and there's cots and all of that everywhere, and those guys who have all those symbols on their face are kind of there with guns and things like that.
Yeah,
and
so like you're now in prison and the guys with the things on their face are the guards, like the prison guards.
They're kind of guards, and they're making sure that you don't leave, for lack of a better way of saying it. And so basically it's all about playing 6 childhood games. So you start off with a game, and it's various ones. The first one is red light, green light. So they pull everybody out into this yard, so to speak. Like look like you're outdoors, but you're not really outdoors. And there's this huge doll-looking creature in front of you.
And I found out that doll is actually a doll from like people's childhoods. Like
a Korean doll that people are very familiar with in Korea. Okay, perfect. So it is a Korean show. I guess I should go there, and we'll talk about what the Squid Game is, and towards the end of this conversation. But basically, so it's different games. Many of them are universal. A few of them are probably more specifically Korean games that they play. And so for the most part, what happens is that it's red light, green light, and everybody's kind of familiar with that no matter what country you're in. So it's like red light, green light, and we called it 1, 2, 3, basically. Yeah. So it's like red light, green light. Yeah. So red light, you stop, green light, you go. And so the doll basically says, or the instructions are that, we're going to play a game. When we say green light, you run. When we say red light, you stop. Don't move when we say to stop. Otherwise, you'll be eliminated. And nobody really knows what eliminated means.
Yeah, this is the first game.
Right, it's the first game, right. And then what happens is they repeat those instructions. So no one can say they didn't know the instructions. So they repeat them. And then the game begins. So it's like green light and everybody's running. Red light, everybody stops. And then somebody maybe is a little bit wobbly or a little,
a little off balance.
Little off balance. Well, you get shot in the head.
Eliminated means eliminated from life.
In the head. So basically, everybody then is freaking out like, oh my God, somebody got shot. And then that makes them move. And then they get shot. And then the next person moves and they get shot. And then people start running for the door because they're scared to death of what is going on. So then all these people get shot. So they start off with 456 people. And by the end of that game, it could be 100 of them are gone. It's like ridiculous how many of them died. But it's basically red light, green light to get across this line. And if you don't get across that line within 5 minutes, because they said they were playing the game for 5 minutes, and that was part of the instructions. So if you don't get across the line within 5 minutes, then you are eliminated. So therefore, there's a lot of tension. I think that's the thing that has so many people watching the show. It's not about the games. I mean, it's about the games, but it's about the tension of the games.
Yeah, it's the suspense of it all.
Right. And it is gory. It's very overly like Tarantino gore. When you think of how people die and the blood splatter and how the blood lands and all of that. But they have different games like the red light, green light. And excuse us if you hear us coughing. It's allergies. It's everything. So we'll apologize now for that. But it's the red light, green light. It's a game that is like a glass bridge that you have to get across. But some of the glass is like tempered glass and some of the glass is real. So it'll break. It can't hold a person's weight. And then another glass it will. So it's like hopscotch. So sometimes you can get on the left side and it'll stay and keep you. And then other times you get on the right side and you just don't know. And so that game is all about, do you want to be at the front of the line or the back of the line, but you don't realize that you're
it's timed. Everything is timed.
Everything is timed.
So you have you have a certain amount of time to get across.
If you're at the back of the line, you may not make it across because the people in front of you are taking so long to decide, am I going to step to the right or step to the left, kind of thing. But then also you have a marble game, you have a cookie game, you have
Tug of war.
Tug of war game. So it's various games, but everything results in death. If you die, if you lose, you're eliminated. And what also happens is there's money in this bank. So there's a big, huge circle in the top of the bunker room, so to speak. And as somebody dies, more money goes into the pool, into the cat, to the kitty, as they say in cards.
Every time people die, more money is added.
Exactly. And so based on that, it ends up being that more and more money is added, and the more and more people die. So although you hate to see that people have died, and maybe it's even people you're close to have died, but at the same time, you're like, well, if I do make it to the end, this is all
money I get. Yeah. What was it? $400 million or something like that?
Well, it's hard to say because it's in won, and
but
I don't know what the math is.
Well, I looked it up. Won to like US dollars is like almost exactly the same. It's not that much of a difference.
Oh, I thought it was a big difference.
No, I don't think it was that much of a difference. I think it was just like maybe like 30 cents difference or something like that.
Oh, yeah. So I'll have to look it up and see exactly how much won was won at the end. But basically, the very last game is the Squid Game, which is why it's called the Squid Game. And so it's a Korean kids game. Oh, yeah, 85.00085 compared to the US dollar. Yeah. So, okay. So, yeah. Well, no, that just means
that one won is almost $1.
No, it's 0.85. That's less than 8 cents.
Oh crap!
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, well, when I looked it up, maybe not. Maybe I looked it up wrong.
So what happens with the game of Squid Game is that it's two people. So it's the final two people, and I won't say how it ends, but basically there is this game that kids play in Korea that is shaped like a squid. So therefore, the Squid Game, and why it's called that, is the very last game is the Squid Game. So that's why it's called that. And then you have to stay within certain boxes and go up against each other. And again, whoever loses that game is eliminated. So that is the Squid Game. It did leave at the end of the season a way in which it could absolutely come back for a second season with the ability of them to bring on so much talent. It is insane. So, okay. So it's 45.6 billion won was 38 million US dollars. So, yeah. So it's about
I'm
less than 10 million.
It's so weird. 456 is throughout the entire show.
Oh, because that's the final number.
The final number was what?
$456,000. I mean, billion.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. So the billion won.
Billion won is around 38 million US dollars.
Okay, so it is that 0.85. So it is not. Yes, the buildings equal millions.
But that's so crazy. Like the 456. We'll talk about this after we get off the podcast, just because I don't want to give out any spoilers if it's anybody that hasn't seen it. But yeah, it's like the 456. We're going to touch on that.
You could actually probably spend a whole podcast episode on each episode of the Squid Game to talk through all the nuances and intrigue.
The little hidden gems, all the little Easter eggs.
All of that. So, so that's my number. Gosh, what was that? 6. Yep, number 6 is Squid Game.
All right.
So your number 5?
All right, so for my number 5... I do not own the rights to this, but I'm going to play a little clip of what my number 5 is.
Okay.
Boy, and I've been trying to make, I'm an island boy. I'm a just island boy. I'm a just island boy. I'm a get key white grind. You're gonna keep that gun. I'm just staring at the sun. I'm just a fool gazing. I'm like, RuPaul, where I'm staying. They're like, you wanna be famous? I'm trying to be out the greatest.
All right, I'm not gonna give you any more of that.
Where did you find this lovely video?
I was scrolling on TikTok with the twins. Everybody knows the Island Boys. The Island Boys. So it's two twins. One of them goes by the name of Fly Soldier. The other one goes by the name of Couric Red. They are two. I think they said that their parents are from Cuba or Cuban. They're of Cuban descent. Okay. They're down in Florida. You can tell they're down in Florida when you see them because they have all those wick dreadlocks, the wick locks that are just like.
It just reminded me of the girl off of Rugrats.
Rugrats. Oh yeah, absolutely.
It looks like it was Angie.
I can't remember
what her name was.
But
she had the blonde hair just sticking out. So if
Yeah.
anybody's ever seen a video with those two guys,
but they God, I don't even know how to like even get into this, but they are all over TikTok because people have been making fun of them, and now they are blowing up, making T-shirts that people are buying. Like they're showing up at different clubs and like places because people want to like make fun of them, but they're making money off of people making fun of them.
They're totally okay with that.
Yeah, I live by and they're not even saying full words.
Right.
He said, "I'm food gazing." Okay, yeah, you're food gazing in the sun. Got it. Okay, but yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. I mean, I just had to bring it up. Like,
it really wasn't anything more than
nothing more than just two young kids trying to make it in life.
Trying to make it in the
Being
world. And
island boys, you know.
Well, I have no idea who these guys are. I truly have no idea who they are. I was going through TikTok and looking at, on Halloween, I was going through different lives and different things on Halloween because I figured people would put a lot of Halloween outfits and costumes. I don't know why I didn't think of Instagram, but I was on TikTok. And so basically there was this guy and his grandmother, and I was like, why is this grandmother dressed up like the girl from Rugrats? Like, because all I saw was the grandmother sitting there and her hair just spiky and all over the place. And I was like, oh, why is she dressed like that? And then she was like, island boy. And she was like barely I could understand what she said.
Yeah,
and I said, oh, this poor old lady, her grandson is making her do this. And she doesn't even know the words. So then he starts chiming in. So they like move the camera from the grandmother to the grandson. And then he's got the crazy spiky hair, but his is a little darker. And he has all of this stuff around his chest, which I guess for the real people, it looks like tattoos, I guess.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Basically,
there's people that do it to their kids, too. They're doing it to babies and everything. Everybody has been, like, making fun of them.
Yeah, but I had no idea what it was. And then when I saw this grandson doing the same song, I said, oh, this is like somebody something. So then, you know, on TikTok, how you can click on the original of the voice. And so I clicked on the original of the voice. Yeah, yeah. And then when I did that, that's when I saw the original guys.
Yeah, the original guys.
And I was like, oh, this is really a thing. And you could see all the people who had redone it.
Like there's people who got tattooed. There's a guy who has a tattoo on his leg of their, like the shape of their head.
That is ridiculous.
It's so much. Like and
then the baby. You showed me a video.
The baby. People are taking the pipe cleaners and putting them in their hair and pretending like they're them with the wicks and everything. Like it is. I'm trying to tell you, it's repulsing but intriguing.
Repulsing and intriguing at the same time.
It's like a train wreck. Like you can't not look, but you want to look away, but you can't. Like, yeah. I mean, they're just. I don't know. It's just so much. I just wanted to show that. I just want to give them their little clout. You know, living their 15 minutes of fame. Yep. Let them get their money. I might, get an Island Boy T-shirt. I don't know. Why not? I might rock it. Why not? But yeah, all right. So yeah, that was my number 5, the TikTok of the Island Mice trying to make it.
Okay, that was very loud. But okay, sorry. Great. All right, Island Boys. All right.
What you got for number 4?
So for number 4, I actually am going to play a clip.
Okay.
And what's so funny about this, I'll give a little backstory. So I personally, it's about RuPaul, actually. Okay. And so I love RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm not a fan of RuPaul's music. However, RuPaul released this song called Blame It on the Edit. That's the name of the song. Okay. And so it's basically about people on reality TV who blame it on the editors. Like,
I get that.
I'm not blaming it on the fact that these are actual words that came out of my mouth. Yeah. I'm just saying that how you edited it made it look a little bit more like I might have given that facial expression 5 minutes ago, but now you're waiting until something is said, and then you're pretending like my facial expression happened after that was said. Exactly. So I'm blaming it on the edit because I'm not being that mean or that rude or whatever. So excuse me, I heard the song, and the opening for it for me gave me life. I love.
So this is your new theme song?
I don't think it's a new theme song, but
it's going to be a song on your playlist. Is it going to put it on your playlist?
I don't even know if it'll go on my playlist, but all I'm saying is that when I heard the beginning of this song, it stuck in my head for the entire day. I could not get away from it. So I'm going to play this really quick so that you all can hear the beginning of the song.
We do not own the rights to this.
Because, that's what I was going to say, because we don't own the rights to it. I think if you do less than 30 seconds, you're good.
Yes,
but anyway, here is the beginning of this song.
All these shows around the world.
Oh, and there I go, actually. Wrong button. Let's start again.
It's okay. Let's bring it back.
Bring it back.
Shows around the world and everywhere we go. You'll never meet another bitch as salty as these hoes. She wanna blame it on the edit. Blame it on the edit.
I like that beat.
Blame it on the edit. You the one who said it. Edit. Gonna take the credit, bitch. You the one who said it, bitch.
Yes.
Blame it on the edit. Blame it on the edit.
Okay.
I love that.
Do you not love?
I love that.
The beginning of this.
That's
song.
when I go to work tonight. That's gonna be stuck in my head all night. I'm gonna be like,
That's what I'm
gonna be like, can I
saying.
see your ID? Blame it on the edit.
So that's the thing. Like, I heard the beginning of that, and it was like, all these girls. I was like, oh my god! Like, there's the beginning of it, and then how it switches.
I know how the beat drops.
Oh my god! It just gave me absolute life. Absolute life. So anyway,
It sounds like an Ariana Grande song. Like Ariana Grande could have sung that song.
anybody could have sung it. Like because it could have been about blaming it on something else, too. So it could be like a Beyonce song where you're blaming it on something else or whatever.
Ain't nobody blaming it on the rain though.
Right. So we're not going there. But no. So I just when I heard it, I was like, OMG, this is like. I mean, I might just now listening to it again. I was like, you know what? I might download it. I might. Just
Would that be nice for you to listen to while you're running? Blame it on the edit.
Yep, you keep your little paste to that.
Little paste to that.
But basically, so I heard the song, loved the song, looked up the YouTube, and then saw these negative comments in regards to it, and I was like, wait, what? So there are people who are saying that RuPaul was being very shady, which I'm like, a queen. What is a queen if a queen's
I'm about
not
to say
shady?
that's
You know
what
I
she
mean?
does.
So
does people not know?
It's people who basically said that she made so much money off of these people who are on her drag race show, and yet she is throwing shade at them, saying, look, I'm making money. I'm creating a reality show. It has to have drama. So I potentially could be the one who is editing it to bring such drama. However, you can't blame it on the edit because those things did come out of your mouth. So it's almost like some of the queens on the show are just like, Ru, like the
you
ones
made
of
me
us
look
who
bad.
have blamed it on the edit are being made to look bad so that you can get ratings, so that you can get Emmys, but it's not the reality of who I am because of how you edited me. So, I mean, I can get that people would just be like, look, if I said this and then you put it 5 minutes after I said it to give it dramatic effect on the show, I am blaming it on the edit because that's not when I said what I said. But at the same time, when you sign up for a reality show, you know what you're signing up for. You know that you're signing up for them to make you look salty, to make you look shady, to make you look crazy, to make you look drunk, to make you look...
You should have read the contract.
But it's like, who doesn't know that? Like, for me, listening to it, I just thought it was about, like, Real Housewives and all of that, because they're always the ones who blame it on the edit. And, like, oh, Auntie Colleen tried to make me look bad, or whatever. And it's like, but this is the reality of what actually happened, and especially for things that people say, and then they try to come back and say, well, you edited me wrong. But it's like, did you say those words in that exact order? Because if you did...
Then
regardless of what timing you said it, you still said those exact words that are problematic. So, anywho,
and then also I would say this: like, you can also blame it on the editing when it goes to fights and stuff like that, because it might be basically, let's say that it's somebody said something, and then next thing you know, a glass is being thrown. But the glass didn't even come from anybody that was on the set. It actually, like anybody who was actually there. Somebody else random just threw a glass, and now everybody's fighting. And it's just like, oh, well, we got, they're making it, like, they're editing that into the thing to make, like, they're making it more drama by editing certain stuff into it as well. Right.
So you can find that on, I was looking up RuTube. That is where I found the Blame It on the Edit official video, which is funny. And what I like about it is that it's all clips of RuPaul throughout his life.
Okay.
saying different things that literally line up with the words on the show, but it may be him from the 80s, him from the 90s, him from, like on a stage in different, times of his life. So you can tell the aging of it is, potentially older. But personally, I give RuPaul all props. I mean, when you think of when he started, how tough it was that he has created a genre for drag queens to come out and be able to really make money, become successful, become world known. And oh, by the way, there are drag queen shows in 11 different countries. Yeah. 11 countries, including Chile, Italy, the Netherlands.
Like he's started. He's like the starter basically of it. I mean, like besides like the balls and stuff like that. But he was the drag queen that actually came out and was entertaining everybody else and not just other people that were in the gay clubs or
and took
bars
all the
and
hits
everything.
for it back then too,
and took all the hits for it.
Everybody used to talk about, RuPaul and what's him, and I mean, what he even had the song Sissy Boy and all those kind of things.
I think that men were probably more mad about RuPaul, probably because they were probably just like, oh, you know what, that dude actually when he puts some makeup on, he's attractive. The guys are probably just like, no, I don't like him because he made me feel some type of way. It's like, man, just like, no,
I don't know, maybe so, but I do know someone who has met him in real life and been to his home and all of that, and he was like, he is so authentic and so nice and so sweet. I believe so it. He's just a good person overall. And the other thing I'll just share so that we can keep it moving as well is that he has received 11 Emmy nominations throughout his career with the Drag Race shows, and that has made him the most awarded Black artist in the world. No one else has more Emmy awards than RuPaul in regards to what they do as a person of color. So I mean that in itself is just huge, that he just continues to outpace himself.
He's probably the only Black drag queen that can wear a rebel flag dress descending from, what was that on Tu Wong Fu? Yes, he came down descending. Descending from the heavens on a swing with the rebel flag, a sparkling, like bedazzled, like rebel flag dress.
I mean, because you couldn't do Tu Wong Fu and not have RuPaul in it.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah. Oh, that would have been a travesty.
It would have been.
It would have been a flop. It would have been a flop.
Well, and I think people would have been like, well, wait a minute, how can you even do this without having RuPaul? So, but anyway, so that is my number 4. Blame it on the edit. I almost want to play it again, but I'm not going to do it. I'll play it after we're done.
Edit. Blame it on the edit.
This is what I said it.
All right.
You're the one who said it. Okay.
Blame it on the edit. All right.
But all right, what is your number 3?
All right, my number 3 is, I don't know why I was on this Amazon kick. My number 3 is Without Remorse. I'm sorry, Tom Clancy's Without Remorse.
Without Remorse, okay.
This is a very action-packed movie. It takes you through peaks and valleys. You'll be like, yes, get them, and then you'll be like, oh my god, I'm crying, sobbing. But it is great. So it does star Michael B. Jordan. So it's the senior chief, John Kelly, who is played by Michael B. Jordan. He's part of a team that has a mission to go into Aleppo, Syria, to go and rescue a hostage. So what ends up happening is during this rescue, a lot of his men end up dying. And then when they get back, one by one, the guys from the mission who survived start getting picked off. They start dying. But what they did was, when they went to Senior Chief John Kelly's house, they messed up, okay? Because he won't play it. He said, I'm staying alive. I'm coming to find you. Like he did the Liam Neeson, and I will find you.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly.
And basically the whole movie is about him going through the motions. I mean, like, he set somebody's car on fire, hopped in the car with the person.
I saw that.
I'm like, did he just hop in a car on fire?
And in front of a bunch of people.
In front of people,
I don't even care that
I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but like this is how bad, like, this is how bad that these people hurt him. Like when they tried to kill him, like they were just, oh my god. So like, yeah, he just hopped in the car with the dude while the car's on fire, and then after he's done, he's just like, I need the name, gets the name, and then hops out of the car, puts his hands up, and was like, I'm an officer, like I'm a U.S. Marshal. I mean, I'm part of the military, I'm part of the military, whatever. I mean, like, he goes to jail for that. While he's in jail, they trying to like take him. they trying to just come and take him out of his cell. They don't even tell him where they take him to. He's like, well, I'm not going nowhere unless you tell me where I'm going to. And they slam the door, and then next thing you know, he goes and he starts getting his t-shirt, wrapping it around his hands because he knows his SWAT's about to come in there and start messing him up. So he's like beating them, and then finally some upper government military people end up getting him out of jail, so then he can go around and find these people who went around killing, the officers of the military that were on this mission, as well as just getting his revenge. And it is a great movie.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's like that.
Yeah, I am not a military movie person. Military movies do nothing for me. So, like, for me to...
I love military movies.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about them. I mean, I can watch some, but, like, some of them... Like, Dunkirk, I liked. I don't know why. Like, Dunkirk,
which one was Dunkirk?
That was the one with the beach, and it had the Harry Styles in it, and all
I don't think I watched that one. I didn't watch that one.
So, like, some of them are good. Other ones, I don't know what it is about, if it's too... Like, I never even watched the first the first Captain America, because I was like, it's too military looking. I don't want to...
Oh, yeah, well, see, that's the difference. Like, so, like, I can't do, like, older military movies.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, was it Saving Private Ryan? Not Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, Saving
Private Ryan, or...
and that one I watched, but I didn't really like, or like that...
I mean, Forrest Gump, though. Forrest Gump, though. Come on.
But Forrest Gump wasn't a military movie. It had
But
a military segment in it.
Ow, something bit me. He was in the military.
In the military.
Some jumped up and bit him in the butt. He was in the military.
And
so
he got to meet the president because of it. So so they don't really do anything for me, but this movie had me captivated from the beginning. And I think what it was is that it did it start with the military piece, or did it start with the killing piece and then it went and flashed back to the military?
Without Remorse, it started with the military piece. It started off with them just popping up out of a little, I thought it was like a...
Oh, they were on a plane, weren't they? And they jumped in water and
I think it starts off. Were they in the plane starting off? I just remember them being like, yeah, they were in the water, and then they just popped up, and then they started taking
people out. Yeah, I do remember that. But it was something about the way that it started that captivated me. And then as the killing started, I was like, whoa, like, this is a John Wick feel more than a military feel.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, he's going to get his reward like John Wick did for that dog. Exactly, he's just going to go and do what he's got to do. So, no,
but Tom Clancy's a beast. Yeah. I've never seen anything that Tom Clancy has not written. Because they're doing the stuff from his books, right?
Yeah, they do things from his books.
So, but his books are like apparently like that for them to be able to make movies about them, and it's like these are really good movies. He got the show. What is it? Ryan something. Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jack Ryan was. I think Jack Ryan was a movie, and then it became a TV show. Yeah. So yeah, what might have been Tom Cruise who played in that with the original Jack Ryan, but yeah. All right, but then that's it. Definitely go ahead and check out on Amazon Tom Clancy's Without Remorse.
All right, so number 2, I have 60 Minutes, believe it or not.
60 minutos.
I know. Not the entire show, but they did a segment recently on Tony Bennett. And can I tell you, it was the most emotional thing that I've seen in a really long time. Yeah.
Because he has Alzheimer's now, right?
Well, thank you for spoiling it.
I'm sorry.
I was just getting ready to say that. But yeah, thanks. Appreciate you.
Bad.
That's my sister, everybody. So
my bad, guys.
So yes, the story was about him being diagnosed with Alzheimer's about 5 years ago. And so basically this was like a scenario of his wife and family saying, we couldn't let everything that happened with COVID, which he kind of started going into sundown mode, as they call it, with Alzheimer's more during COVID, because he wasn't on stage. He wasn't having a show. And so therefore he just wasn't quite himself. And so therefore they were like, we have to get him one more show. Him and Lady Gaga, let's just get him on stage. Let's get them to do a show. So they had an album together in 2014, and they just recently released another album this year that they had worked on before the pandemic. And so basically He has Alzheimer's, and they're showing him, and he's sitting on the couch with his wife of 30 years, who looks a lot younger than him, but they've been together forever. And so basically, she is his full-time nurse for the most part, and she's just like, hey, Tony, like, you know, can you look at me? Or, hey, Tony, like, you remember we're talking to 60 Minutes? And he's like, yeah, you know, whatever. So she's kind of helping him along, and in the rehearsals for the show, what ends up happening is his piano accompanist comes on and he just starts playing, and you see Tony like walk around the corner real quick like, oh my gosh, that's music.
Yeah.
And I mean, before that, Anderson Cooper was trying to talk to him, and he was just like they were like, oh, you're going to be 95 in a few weeks. How do you feel? 95? Like, you know, you know, they're like, oh, you probably don't feel like you're 90, like 95, you know, whatever. And then it was like certain things they were like, oh, you know, they ask him a question and he just looks kind of dazed. He's looking at pictures. He doesn't realize these are things he has painted, you know, all of that. But the music starts. And he just whips around that corner, and then he's like, I've got you under my skin.
Yeah, he's singing.
And he's just singing. And he said, Anderson was like, he sung for an hour straight. Every single song, every single note.
That word for word, didn't stumble, nothing.
Didn't have any issues whatsoever. And you could just even see his face light up and glow. Like before, he just looked like sunken, you know. And then when the music started, he just was going. So then they're talking to Lady Gaga, and she's like, yeah, I'm really excited about this show. We know it's going to be the last show of his career. It was going to be a Radio City Music Hall. And they were like, she said, yeah. She said, but he doesn't know who I am. So as I'm getting ready to walk up, all he calls me is sweetheart. He's like, come on over, sweetheart. Do this, sweetheart, you know. And so she's like, so he doesn't really remember me or know me, but then we'll sing and we'll practice. And she said, I have had to learn that I can't say, hey, you know, Tony, do you want to sing, you know, I've got you under my skin, or do you want to sing, I don't know, bang, bang, bang with the trolley or whatever, you know, like, which one do you want to sing? And so he is like frozen. He can't make that decision cognitively. But she said, but if she says, hey, Tony, are you ready to sing, you know, like, whatever song, you know, and I'm trying to think of his songs now at the top of my head.
But it's like if you really wanted one of his songs.
But yeah, like, Tony, do you want to sing Lady is a Tramp? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, okay, everybody, Lady is a Tramp. Yeah. So she said, I have to ask him pointed yes or no questions, and he's on it. But if I say anything else, he's not. But then as soon as the music starts, he hits his mark, she hits her mark, and it's just perfection, right?
It's muscle memory.
Right. So, and it's like they say with people with Alzheimer's, you know, and like them playing a song from their childhood, they'll remember. But then you play a song that, or even say, hey, who is this? And it's like, I don't know who that is, and it's your child, you know, or something like that. So basically they go through and they're on the stage, right? It's his 95th birthday. They get to Radio City. He's sitting there listening to Lady Gaga play, and his wife is like, that's Lady Gaga. She's playing right now. You know, she's singing first and we're going to join after. And he's like, okay, all right. So then he goes out there, does 12 songs. Basically flawless. They said a few hiccups here and there, but he's just singing. He's just going, you know, singing all his stuff. It's beautiful to watch in video. And then, and I get chills, and I almost was like tearing up, because what happens is that all of a sudden it's time for Lady Gaga to join him on the stage for a couple of songs. And so what happens is she comes out and she was like, hey, Tony. And he was like, wow.
Oh, Lady Gaga.
Why do you keep taking away all of my surprises?
I'm sorry.
So he's like, wow, Lady Gaga. And she's like, oh my God. And she almost breaks down into tears on the stage, because she's like, that is the first time with all the rehearsals. That's the first time that he ever said my name. So she was like, him being on that stage and him feeling that energy from the crowd and that muscle memory, as you mentioned, just brought him to a place where he knew who she was. And so they did their show, and they, you know, had a wonderful time. And then next thing you know, she was like, can I just walk you off the stage? Can I just be that person to take you off the stage? And he was like, sure. And they left, and that was it. And so it was very heartwarming and moving. And I know there's people who have folks in their families and their homes that, you know, have Alzheimer's or dementia or whatever. And so to me, it was just a story of resiliency, a story of, a sad story, but at the same time, it was a story that just still had a feel-good element to it because of the fact that there are certain things like music that can just make people feel whole again. So that is my number 2.
So so there are people who have had brain trauma. I actually saw a documentary about it. It was like people who have had brain trauma, and they'll ask them like, "What is this?" And they'll hold up a watch, and that might be like a phone. And then they'll be like, "No, this is a watch." And then they'll be like, "So what is this?" And they're like, and they like forget it that fast. They'll sing "Row, row, row your boat." They know all the words.
Right, exactly.
It's something. Some muscle memory. I don't know what it is.
There's a doctor that's in this episode that speaks to that and why the songs and the music is something that can cognitively sit in a different place of your brain than the part that can not remember short-term memory or even longer-term memory to a degree. But anyway, we're getting close on time, so I'll go ahead and pass it over to you for number 1.
Numero uno. Okay. All right. So this is Bliss. Bliss is my number 1. This is also on Amazon.
Okay.
Bliss is a very interesting movie. It is not going to be a movie for everybody. Some people are gonna watch it and be like, "What the hell am I watching?" And some people are gonna be like, "Oh, this is really interesting. Like, I'm into it." So, what Bliss is about is, excuse me, it is about a movie with Selma Hayek and Owen Wilson, and they are 2 people that are homeless. And it's like the emotions, but like how it starts off is it's so weird how it starts off because you kind of know that they're homeless, but then like you kind of don't. And then it goes into seeing it from a homeless person's. The movie is about seeing it from a homeless person's mindset with them having mental issues and being homeless. Okay. So it's a homeless person with mental issues point of view on their life.
Gotcha.
And like not even realizing that you're missing out on days of time, like. Not even realizing that what somebody's saying does not make sense because it makes sense at that moment. I mean, when I'm watching it, Selma Hayek comes up to Owen Wilson, starts talking to him, and I'm just like, "Oh my God, what is she talking about? Like, where is this?" I was like, "Is this like a sci-fi?" And then it's like, "No, she's just like mentally, unstable. That's what it is." So then it just goes from there. Like, so I'd say that is a good one to watch. It's a wild ride. I will say that.
Okay.
It is.
And where did you see this on?
It's on Amazon.
Oh, Amazon.
It's another Amazon. Okay. But yeah, it's just seeing the mind state of homeless people from their mind.
So is it like schizophrenia, maybe?
I think it's schizophrenia. I think it's schizophrenia. I think that's what it is. But like in the movie, it's so weird because they will say something, and then and Owen Wilson's talking about his daughter, and then come to find out that like he hasn't seen his daughter in God knows how many years.
Oh, but he's talking about her.
But he's talking about her like oh yeah, I gotta go pick up my daughter later on. Like this been 20 years, homie. Like like you're like their mind is just not working right. But it's seeing it from their point of view, so it's kind of like some people will see homeless people and try to like look down on them. But this is like, hey, do you now know what this homeless person is going through,
right? Exactly.
Or has been through,
and you won't because if you haven't experienced that yourself, you don't quite get the concept.
Exactly,
of it. So,
exactly. Yeah. But that was my numero uno.
Number one. Bliss. On Amazon.
On Amazon Prime.
All right. Well, that is the 10 items, those things that we really focused on this week that we wanted to share with you all. Maybe it will get you out to buy a book. Or watch a TikTok or a YouTube video or maybe even a television show. So thanks everyone for joining us this week and participating in our podcast called Sestra-Tainment. Thanks so much and we'll see you next time.